when you know that someone is standing with you. And God is always with His children. When you follow God and you do what He says, you're promised His companionship. You're promised His presence. The second thing that you're promised is God's protection. He told Abram, I will bless those who bless you, and whoever curses you, I will curse. And God never asked you and I to go around cursing people or getting revenge. He's asked you and I to leave that in His hands. Let Him take care of that. When God's your Father, He takes care of you. Hebrews chapter 13. Listen to what God tells you and I to do. Keep your lives free from the love of money and be content with what you have, because God has said, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. So we say with confidence, the Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can man do to me? Anytime we're in a new direction, or God takes us somewhere that we weren't expecting, there's new dangers, there's new perils, there's new unknowns. But if God is for us, who can be against us? Look at Psalm 91. It says, he who dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from the deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in the darkness, nor the plague that destroys at midday. 1,000 may fall at your side, 10,000 at your right hand, but it will not come near you. You will only observe with your eyes and see the punishment of the wicked. If you make the Most High your dwelling, even the Lord who is my refuge, then no harm will befall you. No disaster will come near your tent. For He will command His angels concerning you to guard you in all your ways. They will lift you up in their hands so that you will not strike your foot against the stone. You will tread upon the lion and the cobra. You will trample the great lion and the serpent. Because He loves me, says the Lord, I will rescue him. I will protect him, for he acknowledges my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Just hear that. You read that. It just sounds too good to be true. Can it be that way? Can it be that God would be that intimately involved in our lives that we can face anything and know that we don't have to be afraid? God will protect us. When I was a child, I thought that my dad could save me from anything. He was a real big man. He was about 2 inches taller than me, and we probably weighed about the same, but we came about it different ways. He was pretty solid. He worked out at the mill, and he used to pick up these big toolboxes that most everybody else was using 2 guys to haul around, and he would grab one in each arm and take off and walk, and everybody was so impressed with that. And then he'd come home at night and couldn't hardly make it in the door because his back was so messed up. But he was a big guy. I remember knowing that if anybody knew who my dad was, they weren't going to mess with me because they didn't want to have to mess with him. It was a great thing. But my all-powerful dad died when I was 13. I want to tell you, whenever you put faith in man or even put faith in yourself, you're going to be disappointed. Because there's no man that can do what God can do. But you put faith in God and you'll never be disappointed. We're guaranteed God's presence. We're guaranteed God's protection. We're also guaranteed God's blessing. God told Abram, I want you to leave. I want you to go. Don't worry about where. Just leave it all behind. I'm going to go with you. I'm going to take care of you. But then he said, I'm going to make you into a great nation. And through you, the entire world will be blessed. When we follow God in a new direction, I believe it makes a difference in our world. See, God's never asked you or I to keep ourselves as number one. He's never asked you or I, hey, just worry about yourself, and whatever anybody else's problem is, that's their problem. You look out for number one. Never. God's asked you and I to watch out for one another. And when we think of blessing, at least when I do, if somebody says, wow, God's really going to bless you, I'm thinking maybe money and cars and bikes and warm fuzzies, position, power, just a lot of good stuff, And that would be true if I was the only person on the planet. But that's not God's perspective. He's not just concerned with me. He's concerned with the entire human race. You and I, our lives have a purpose and meaning that goes far beyond our comfort and our self-esteem. Usually when we're praying, we're tending to focus on ourselves. God bless me. God help me. Heal me. Do something here. I'm in trouble over here. There was a time when I was just kind of rethinking things and asking myself, God, am I doing with my life what it is you want me to do? Why am I here? And I asked God to help me to see my community the way that He sees it. I asked Him to open my eyes. And basically what He kind of helped me to understand, He said, I want you to imagine that your son is sick and dying. I just want you to imagine that. And you have the answer. You have the cure. You have the magic pill. Whatever it is, if you'll just take this, it all goes away. And you offer that to Him. And He refuses. He says, no, I got this one. I thought about how painful that would be. If I had the answer and I had done all the tough work, and all my child would have to do is just say, yeah, Dad, I'll take that from you. And his problems would melt away. And he would get a confidence and he would get a peace. I thought how painful that would be if he would refuse. And that's a reality that God lives millions of times a day. People who've got it all figured out and won't even think of asking Him for His advice or His help or His plan.